Alright, today we're doing Unit 3, Lesson 12. We're continuing with percentages, and I'm going to show you another strategy you can use to solve problems. You can continue to use the double number lines that we used in class yesterday, which I'll review at the end of this video, or you can use these new representations of tape diagrams. This first problem I'll use a tape diagram to solve. So Jada has a new puppy and it weighs 12 pounds. It is now at 25% of its adult weight, and we're going to figure out how much it will weigh when it is full grown. First, I want to point out that full grown would be our 100% amount. So we're going to be using that, or that's what we're going to be calculating. To make a diagram of this problem, I'm going to take the percent amount, and I'm going to write it as a fraction. Okay, and I want to get that into its simplest form before I make a diagram. Okay, so to simplify, remember we're dividing. Okay, for this one, to get to simplest form quickest, you can divide each of those numbers by 25. And we'll get the fraction 1/4. Using that fraction, we're going to create a diagram. And so the 4 is going to be the number of boxes I make in my diagram. So let's draw 4 boxes. Okay, and so each box is going to represent the original amount, 25%. And so when we're doing this, if you've done your simplification correctly, the total amount of the boxes will total that 100%. So 4 boxes of 25%. Okay. In this problem, we are told that the weight is 12 pounds at 25%. So in the box underneath 25%, I fill in 12. And so each of those represents the same amount of weight. And so the 100% is the total amount of all of those boxes. So 12 boxes of 4 is 48 pounds. In this next example, we're going to see how we can use a diagram for 2 different people to compare and write the comparison as a percent. Okay, so we can ignore in this one, to start, the number inside the box. And so I want to figure out how many more times cars did Mark wash. So I'm just going to count how many total boxes I have. And so Angela has 3 boxes, and Mark has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boxes. And then we're going to calculate how many more, so going from the number that Angela has to the number that Mark has. So 3 times what will give me 6. So 3 times 2 is 6. So Mark has 2 times as many. Okay. In part B and C, we're now going to compare those 2 people. Okay. And so comparing them as a fraction, I'm just going to write the number of boxes each person has. So Mark will be my denominator at the bottom. He has 6, and Angela has 3. So we're comparing 3 to 6. And we want to simplify this. And so we're going to end up with, if I simplify 3 over 6, that becomes 1/2. Okay, and so then in part C, when we're asked to compare them now with a percent, we're going to take the fraction amount that we had in part B. The comparison is 1 to 2. And to get that to its percentage form, we're making that equivalent to a fraction out of 100. Again, because percents are always out of 100. Okay, so we're going to identify to make these equivalent. What did I multiply 2 by to get the denominator of 100? 2 times 50. And so that's 50 out of 100. Making sure we answer the question in the form it's asking as a percentage is 50%. In this last example, I'm going to review with you from yesterday how we can use a double number line. And again, when you're completing today's assignment, you can choose to use the diagrams that we just saw, or you can continue to use the double number line. Okay, I'm going to change this so it's a little bit more tricky for us in this example. So instead of Noah having $5, I'm going to have him have $25. All right, Elena has 140% as much as Noah. So remember, when we're counting on our double number line, we have our percent amount on the bottom. And in this problem, we are talking about money, so we'll put money on top. Okay, the 100% amount is what we're comparing to, so Noah's amount. So I'm going to put $25 above the 100%. And then we're looking to identify, if she has 140%, how much money she has. Okay, so we need to be counting on our percentage line by something that will arrive at 100 and 140. Okay, so remember yesterday we talked about numbers we could count by, and they include 1, 2, 4, 5, 20, 25, and 50. And so the number that we can choose to count by that will get to 100 and 140 is 20%. So I'm going to list out here, counting by 20%. And so after 80 would be 100, plus 20 is 120, and then 140. So now our last step is to figure out, what am I counting by? And so I'm going to look at how many spaces I have. So going from my zero amount of dollars to 25, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. So to identify what I am counting by, I take the 25 and I divide it into 5 spaces. And so our dollar amount is counting by 5s. And so how much Elena has, we can then just circle our answer. 140% is $35. Right, so as you continue working on this assignment, you can use the diagrams, of course, or your double number lines to help you solve percent word problems.